feel about hypocrisy? If you're like most people, most of us are against hypocrisy. We believe people need to live what they say and by their actions, not betray their words. But we also have to acknowledge that while we expect that in others, we also acknowledge that there is hypocrisy within us, that there are times we don't do exactly what we say we believe. We're on this journey to the cross and the resurrection, walking with Jesus through Holy Week, and we're taking a look at the life of Jesus on each day. We're kind of stopping, and so today is the Tuesday before of Holy Week, and there's a couple different encounters which happened on this day, but I want to focus on a longer encounter that happens actually in Matthew's Gospel, Matthew chapter 23. Jesus is on the Mount of Olives, and this is often called the Olivet Discourse, where Jesus gives 7 woes, that's W-O-E, to the Pharisees and the teachers of the law because they were hypocrites. They weren't living what they said they believed. And in fact, in Matthew 23, Jesus says, do not what they do, because they do not practice what they preach. Everything they do is done for men to see. And then he says in verse 25, woe to you, teachers of the law and Pharisees, you hypocrites, with an exclamation point. You clean the outside of the cup and dish, but inside they are full of greed and self-indulgence. Blind Pharisee, first clean the inside of the cup and dish, and then the outside will also be clean. It's interesting to note that Jesus is saying that the problem isn't our external actions, it's with our heart, and that's what needs to change. As we think about hypocrisy, I wonder how much the Pharisees knew about their hypocrisy. Was that an intentional decision to live contrary to their beliefs, or was it something they don't even recognize? I'm filming this right now in my car. This is a Chevy Suburban. I like this car. This is a 2004. I got a lot of history in this car. There's a lot of stains. I got 260,000 miles in this car. I like it because, I live in Tennessee. You might even notice a little bit if I showed it in the back. I have a lot of recycling and things that I put in the back. But it's a fun car to drive. One of the things that's true about all cars is they all have blind spots. Have you ever been in an accident that's been caused by a blind spot? I have. I remember when I was about 16 or 17 years old, one of my good friends, Jeff, I remember we were driving through Ardmore, Pennsylvania, driving out on Route 30, I believe, and it was right by a McDonald's. And the only accident I can vividly remember was out of nowhere, this car crashed into us. We were in the slow lane, and it was all because of a blind spot. My friend didn't do anything wrong. It just happened. And the truth of the matter is we all have blind spots. And, the big idea behind today, something practical that we can apply to us is, God, help me to understand, and would you reveal to me my blind spots? What are the areas of my life where I say one thing and then I actually do another? Maybe I say I value generosity, but then I spend money on things that aren't important. Or I believe in serving other people, excuse me, and putting others' needs ahead of my own. But instead what I do is actually do the opposite. I put my needs ahead of others. But I remember when I was, in just the past couple of years, just thinking to myself, what are areas of my life that I'm not aware of? And one of them was about believing the best about people. Too often, I think I've viewed people with maybe they have an angle of what they do, or I'm waiting for another shoe to drop, or sometimes I assume the worst, and God's kind of called me up and saying, I need you to believe the best about people and not to assume a story, because you wouldn't want anybody else to feel that way about you. We all have blind spots, and we can do our work in trying to recognize them, but we ultimately need God to reveal them. I don't know how the Pharisees responded. Well, actually, I do know how the Pharisees responded. They didn't like what Jesus said, and they rebelled. In fact, they planned to kill him. So I don't want to respond like that. I want to be a person who is responsive to what God tells him to do. So maybe a simple prayer as you are on this Holy Tuesday is simply, God, what are my blind spots? Would you reveal to me my blind spots? Open my eyes. What are your blind spots? See you next time.